Hi, and welcome to another one of my videos. A special hello and welcome to any of my new subscribers, for which I am entirely grateful to the wonderful Cameron Cheney for giving me a shout out as a new booktuber to listen to, and I hope that these videos live up to some sort of expectation. A word of warning, my videos are not professional. I don't have any fancy starter, any fancy bits and pieces that flash up in there. It's just me waffling most of the time, and trying to help the writers that I read and enjoy. It's unlikely that you'll find any Stephen King reviews on here, even though I do read King. I've got lots of King. I don't think I've read anything by him this year. I try to focus on indie authors, people that are self-published as well as through the indie publishing houses, supporting small presses and people that I know. So I hope that to anyone who's watching this and who's expecting the quality of Cameron's videos is not going to be disappointed. But anyway, today I wanted to talk about, now it's also been brought to my attention that I say my favourites a lot. Everybody's my favourite. I've got favourite writers here, there and everywhere, and people that I enjoy talking with. But I say that because I do genuinely just really adore most people. But this book really was one of the best I've read this year. I have done my 10 books of 2020 so far, and this one is in the top 5. And he is also a good friend of mine. But I wanted to talk about this book today, Tomb of Gods by Brian Moreland. I will just read, look how beautiful it is. This is a hardback, which is even more gorgeous. But I just will read the blurb for you. So it says, Tomb of Gods. Deep inside the tomb exists a hidden world of wonder and terror. In 1935, a team of British archaeologists explored an Egyptian tomb and vanished. A year later, only one man returned, insane and covered in mysterious scars. Egyptologist Imogen Riley desperately wants to know what happened to the ill-fated expedition led by her grandfather. To find the answers, she joins a second team of archaeologists and soldiers. Inside a mountain tomb, they discover a technologically advanced relic and a maze of tunnels. Could they hold the secrets of the pharaohs? When the explorers venture deep into the caves, they encounter a realm inhabited by their darkest fears. As they struggle to survive, Imogen and the team will learn why so many before them have disappeared forever. Okay. So, Brian Moreland, Tomb of Gods. Deep inside the tomb exists a hidden world of wonder and terror. Now, this was released back, I think, the 21st of May, well, back in May this year. And I was lucky enough, it was actually one of the very first physical ARCs that Flame Tree sent me. After I started speaking to Brian the end of last year, so I think I might have had the physical book around this time last year, maybe a bit later, I can't remember. Anyway, it looked amazing. There's my paperback ARC is there, so you can see nothing much has changed on that. And the premise was extremely intriguing, but it had a lot to live up to for me. As well as always having been a horror fan, I've loved Egyptology and anything to do with Tutankhamun and that kind of thing since I was a very young child. My parents took me to a Tutankhamun exhibition when I was about 8 or 9. So this had a great deal to live up to see what it was going to be like. I'm not some kind of Egyptologist expert or anything, but I do know things about it. And all I can say is wow. Okay, just wow. It was, as with most Flame Tree stuff, I mean, Don doesn't accept anything into Flame Tree that isn't top-notch and high standards, and this absolutely blew my mind. So I've made a couple of notes for myself, which I never usually do, but because I wanted this one to be a bit more professional, I'm doing well so far. Okay, so I have said that it reads like an 18 rated, R rated to my American friends, Indiana Jones. That's what it felt like to me. When you read something set in this time in the 30s to do with archaeologists and all that kind of thing, you cannot help but draw a comparison to things like Indiana Jones and the Mummy and all those kind of things. And yeah, there are aspects of it, but give it an 18 and R rating, okay? Because this is a full-on scare the pants off you, creepy as fuck gore fest. Okay? Do not think that this is not going to scare the life out of you, because it will. Some of the moments in this book frightened me more than almost anything else I've read for quite a while. There is a reason for that, and I actually had a long conversation with Brian about how he does his research, and he's one of these authors that goes full on, you know, he is in, this is like 2 years of research to make sure every detail was correct. And one of the things that he did was he actually did not only the research on Egyptology and archaeology to make it all seem extremely authentic, which it does, but he also did some research into people's phobias, and arachnophobia, it was like up there, which I suffer from. So he actually created one of his characters solely to put them through the ringer. So when they get into, when it all goes horribly wrong and they get into the pyramid and all this kind of stuff, there is a realm of spiders, and he created that specifically because this character is arachnophobic, to make that character suffer. Now, I'm going to admit I skipped part of that chapter. I was snuggled up in bed reading this, enjoying it, loving it, thinking, yeah, this is really good. And then I came to that bit, realm of the spiders. I couldn't read it. I just couldn't do that to myself, because I knew that I was going to have nightmares if I was reading it that close to bedtime. So if you are arachnophobic like me, then you will either torture yourself, because that's what we do as horror writers, and read it, or you may just skip a couple of pages like I did. And I'm not afraid to admit that. Total wuss when it comes to spiders. And if it was just a tiny spider that crawled across the page, yeah, I can deal with that. Yeah, you know, I am a grown woman. But in this bit, oh, there was no way I was going to read it. Absolutely not. Okay. So basically, this book blew my tiny mind. It had twists and turns all over the place. Nothing that I expected to happen happened. Which again is kudos to Brian for writing something that you think to yourself, oh yeah, I know what's going to go on. No, not at all. You do not know what's going to go on. The ending was just like, wow. Just in case I was biased, my husband also read this. He's read a couple of Brian Moreland books before as well, and loved his style. And hubby loves anything that is set like in the past. He loves his historic stuff, and he absolutely loved this as well. Absolutely blew his mind equally. So we're both massive Brian fans for life now. If you've ever interacted with Brian on Twitter or Facebook or anything like that, he is genuinely, and I'm going to say it again because I keep saying this, but it is true, one of the nicest people just around. Not just in the horror community or the writing community, just one of the nicest people per se. He lives in Texas, and at the start of lockdown, when I was homeschooling, my daughter, who's 10, was doing, they were reading Holes, if anybody's ever read that when they're at school or whatnot, which is set in Texas, and they had to do a presentation about Texas. So Brian gave us all this stuff, including like information and photos of his own house and stuff to use in her slideshow presentation that she did. We made a PowerPoint, which was so good. The teacher said that she will actually use it this coming year with her new pupils as a teaching aid, because there was so much stuff about Texas, and that was solely because Brian took time out of his day to send me information. And he'll send me emails and say, how's Felicity doing? Just above and beyond an amazingly nice person. And his writing style is like scary good. Scary good. He's definitely up there with Jonathan Janz in a level of prose that make you feel smart when you're reading it because you understand what he's talking about. It just beautiful writing. He uses amazing imagery. You read a sentence and you are in the book. He has very believable characters. We've got the three main characters are Imogen Riley, who is the English granddaughter of the archaeologist who was on the first expedition. You've got Nathan Trummell, who is an English professor who is a complete, well, you'll find out. And then you've got Caleb Beckett, who is an American journalist. They're the main characters. Each of them was extremely relatable. You really got behind them or wanted them to suffer and all that kind of stuff. The settings and the descriptions, it's just A-class. His writing is just believable and beautiful. Yeah, I was lucky enough to be on the Flame Tree tour for this, in which obviously I gave it 10 out of 10 and told everybody to go and read it. I've done interviews with Brian, and I cannot rave enough about just what a fantastic writer he is. So there we go. Tomb of Gods. Read it if you like horror, read it if you like surprising horror, read it if you like historic horror, anything like that. If you like Egyptology, if you like archaeology, even if you just fancy something you're going to go in and it's going to be different to what you thought it was going to be, then I 100% recommend this brilliant book. And get on and follow Brian on Twitter and let him know how much you enjoy it, because as much as writers say they don't read reviews and they don't care what people think, they write it for themselves. As a writer myself, I know it is nice when somebody says to you that you've done really well. They do like to have interaction. Okay, so if anybody's still here listening to me waffle, just a couple of other little bits I thought that I would tell you, if anyone's still interested. So let me see. Sadie Hartman messaged me about doing a buddy read for the Nightworms blog. So make sure that you are following Nightworms, Mother Horror, all that kind of stuff. And I've had this book for a while. It's been on my radar for longer, and then I finally bought it in the 4th of July sale that Flame Tree had. So we are going to buddy read this. Now, Andrew, the book dad, recommended this to me ages ago after he read a story of mine. He beta read it, and that's made it into the 25 Gates of Hell anthology, so thank you for that. Anyway, and I saw that Sadie posted this, and I said, I've been wanting an excuse to dive into this, like come out of my review pile for a bit and to read something that isn't on my review pile. And so now is the perfect time, so we're going to start this at the weekend, and I cannot wait. Again, it sounds absolutely amazing and right up my street. Detective stuff, weekend camping trip, Native Americans. You got into trouble then. So that just sounds as people are dying at Strong Lake, and the worst is yet to come. So that looks amazing. So going to be starting that. Even though my review pile is now like this and my own writing is like this, and yeah. Okay, so tomorrow for our way more professional, because Lewin is involved, Cryptids, Crypts and Coffee podcast, we are going to be, we're going to be talking to Cameron. Yes, I cannot wait. So I talk to Cameron nearly every single day on text, Facebook, everything like that. But this will be the first time we speak kind of face-to-face on Skype, so cannot wait. You know, everybody knows how much I adore Cameron, because he's just the nicest person in the world. He really is one of my favourites. Speaking of Cameron, we are buddy reading this to do a joint review. About halfway through now. Really good. Again, I love collections because you can dip in and out. So, my daughter's actually back at school at the moment. It is actually daytime, although you wouldn't believe it. This is how horrible England is. It's pouring with rain. I've got the lights on, and it's only like 10:30 in the morning. It's ridiculous. But anyway, so Cameron and I are going to buddy read this, and we're going to do a joint review, which will be on his channel, so it'll be much better than this. And then what else? I actually bought a couple of books on Twitter. And on Twitter, see, I do this in one take and then I get confused with what I'm even trying to say. I bought a couple of books on Kindle. And I bought, because I absolutely love at the moment, Tim Meyer, who's a fairly newer writer to me. Recently read The Switch House, which is amazing. Loved it. And so I've just bought, here we go, In the House of Mirrors on my Kindle, because I always have at least 10 books on my Kindle that I'm reading, as well as my ridiculous pile of other things. So yeah, I started that. I shouldn't have started it because I've got other books to read, but I did. I couldn't help myself. And I also bought, because it was 99p, so what you can do, Savage Jungle by one of my other actual favourites. How many times have I said that? Hunter Shea. Because if you see a Hunter Shea book, even on ebook for 99p, you're going to buy it, aren't you? You have to. There's no reason why you can't. Okay, so I am reading about a million things as usual. Get review requests nearly every other day. Got 3, 4 more things coming from America. I don't know why, but it always excites me when books come from America. I feel bad for the people posting it because it costs like $25, but if they want to post it, I'm sure going to read it, or at least post about receiving it and all that kind of stuff on here. So thank you. Felicity told me not to waffle for more than 5 minutes since it was only a book review, and I've just hit nearly 17, so I apologise for that. But thank you everybody for watching this, if you're still here. I know how to link things now. I'm getting better. So I will link a few things underneath. Huge thank you as always to Cameron for shouting me out, and my views and my subscribers like blew up, doubled overnight, so thank you very much, and I will speak to you all later. Thank you, bye.